What is up, YouTube, man? I got a special video for y'all today. Today, we're going to be doing a mock draft with special guest Cody here. He's joining me today. We're going to be doing the mock draft, going back and forth, back and forth. You guys know I use Pro Football Focus for my mock drafts. Cody, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
So I'm Cody. I'm a diehard Packers fan, loyal Chiefs head my whole life. They're especially excited for this mock draft since the Packers have 2 picks. We'll be seeing who's available on the board at that point, most likely wide receiver. And it's an especially interesting draft because of teams like the Jets and the Giants having 2 high up picks.
Facts. So, you already know how it goes, man. No trades during this mock draft. We're going straight up. We don't have a crystal ball. We're not going to be trying to guess what teams are going to be doing on that end. So let's go ahead and get this show on the road. All right. So I'm going to go first with the number 1 overall pick. I am going to say the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to protect their most valuable asset at this period of time, which is Trevor Lawrence. And they're going to go ahead and pick my guy, Evan Neal.
He's sort of like that pick in terms of protecting Trevor Lawrence. And I'm going to go a little bit local here with the Lions pick and take Aiden Hutchinson to give some more to the Lions. As a Packers fan, I'm not a huge fan of having him in the division, but most likely taking him.
Definitely, that move makes the most sense for the Detroit Lions. Hopefully, they don't botch that move right there. But next up, got the Texans. As you can see, their team needs, it says, is every position. I can completely agree. They no longer have Deshaun Watson, and I can't name 5 players that is going to start for them, really. But I think they're going to pick the best player available, which, in my opinion, is Kyle Hamilton. Go ahead and try to solidify somebody in the secondary for years to come.
And that's a very good pick for a team that needed just about any somewhat good player. There's the Jets on the clock, probably going to draft a linebacker high up. So see who can you scroll up a second?
Oh yeah.
So,
If I'm going too fast, let me know.
good. Devin Lloyd from Utah should be able to provide a future and some instant gratification for a team that has not much to lose.
Definitely. They definitely need a linebacker for the Jets. The Jets, they need a lot more than just a linebacker, but linebacker on defense would definitely be a great start for them. Next up, we got the New York Football Giants. I think that they're going to go ahead and try to solidify that offensive line. Now, this next pick right here, his draft stock has been dropping here pretty recently because of how he tested at the combine. His um dropping it. His wingspan didn't test really well. They say he has stubby arms now, but the guy's tape is amazing, man. And this guy's Tyler Lindenbaum.
It's a very good pick for the Giants, who could try and protect Daniel Jones a little bit more before completely throwing in the towel on that pick. And the Panthers on the clock now. I think there's not a standout QB that they want to go all in for right now. So they'll focus more on protecting their quarterback also. With most likely offensive tackle, and with Ikem Ikewanu from North Carolina State.
Icky, he's a great pick. His tape is amazing, man. I love watching him just push people off the screen, man. Icky is a great guy. He's what's needed for the Carolina Panthers. All right, next up, we got the New York Football Giants again. Now, with this pick here, I think they're going to go ahead and pick Kayvon Thibbs. With Thibbs, people have been really questioning his dedication to football. Now, last year, you may have heard this with another player, and this player has actually shown himself to be one of the top tier players in the league. It's going to be a starter for a long time to come. But with Thibbs, I think he's just getting a bad rep, and hopefully this isn't going to transfer over to the next level where he's actually going to be getting paid. I think that Thibbs is going to actually be a difference maker for the Giants going forward.
It's a good pick for the Giants. We've seen in the past what edge rushers can do right away, like Nick Bosa did for the 49ers. And now that the Falcons on the clock, they have team needs all over the board, really, with trading away Matt Ryan recently and then Julio Jones the year before. So really like Drake London out of USC for them, someone that could stretch the field and provide an extra weapon for whoever their quarterback will be next year.
Great pick. I think they really need a wide receiver. With them losing Calvin Ridley, I don't think he may even return to the team with everything that he's got going on. But they need a wide receiver badly. Everybody knows the Atlanta Falcons. They need two top tier wide receivers to really be dominant in their division. Next up, we got the Seahawks. It used to be my Broncos pick, but we traded it away because we had to get us a quarterback. And I think that the Seahawks will pick a quarterback. Now, there's a lot of mixed reviews on who's the best quarterback in this year's draft, but from what I've seen, I believe that the Seattle Seahawks, they're not going to take Malik Willis. I think they're going to go ahead and pick my guy out of North Carolina, Sam Howell.
So that's a very good pick for the Seahawks with Sam Howell, having the same alma mater as the last guy there did, and now that's opened up the floodgates for quarterbacks to come off the board. So now with the Jets on the clock again, looking to address defense still, and more specifically the secondary. You scroll up a little bit, like all the way to the top. So it'll probably be taking Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU. We've seen a lot of LSU guys have instant gratification in the pros and even in the Super Bowl last year. So the Jets will go there.
Mm-hmm. Great pick by the Jets. Stingley was injured last year, but his tape is amazing. And we've actually had some footage being released of him strapping up Jamar Chase. And we've seen what Jamar Chase is doing at this level right here. But next up, we got the Washington Commanders. And I do not believe they're going to pick a quarterback. I think Carson Wentz may be their guy, at least for this season. I think they're going to go ahead and pick one of the best edge rushers available, and they're going to go ahead. I'm sorry, one of the best defensive linemen available, and they're going to go ahead and get Devontae Wyatt. He had a pretty nice combine. I think his draft stock rose tremendously.
I really like the pick for the Washington Commanders. There's talk of them going for a quarterback, but they did just trade for Carson Wentz. So that's me set there. So the Vikings are a team that's been pretty set on offense, whether fans like it or not, with Kirk Cousins. So they'll be going defense with this pick and selecting Trent McDuffie out of Washington to solidify the back end of their defense.
Great pick by them. Trent loves purple. He's gonna stay in purple. I think he would love being in Washington. Being in Minnesota. All right. Next up, we got the Texans. As I stated earlier, they have team needs at every single position. So for them, the best thing to do would be to pick the best player available. And in my opinion, that would be Mr. Jordan Davis. Tested amazing at the combine, freak of nature, ran a 4.7, sitting at 340 pounds. Absolute refrigerator out there on the field. I think he could definitely be a game changer for the Texans going forward and be a nice pick for him.
So it's definitely a good pick for the Texans who have needs all over the board. And it's also a position where they could end up trading him if they're still in rebuilding mode 2 years from now, which, let's face it, that's a very real possibility. And now the Ravens are on the clock, and they need some more defensive players on the fort, and edge rusher out of Purdue, George Karlaftis would be a good addition for them.
Great pickup for them. George has some great film. I think he could definitely be a game changer for the Ravens. It'll be just an amazing pick to have him there. Next up, we got the Eagles with their back-to-back picks. I think they're going to go ahead and try to get the one of the best edge rushers in this year's draft. He's out of Georgia as well, and his name is Trayvon Walker. Tested great at the combine. He's going to be a game changer at the next level.
So it was a great pick for the Eagles. They have something going on offense at this point. And the quarterback drama in Philadelphia is probably going to go on forever, but they're not going to take a quarterback this high. So it'll probably be sticking with defense and taking Kobe Dean, linebacker out of Georgia, to provide even more front seven reinforcement.
Definitely. I love the Kobe Dean out of Georgia as well. Great on field and off the field guy. Great in the run, great in coverage as well. He led that SEC team to SEC championship. You love to see it. Next up, we got the Chargers. They've had a pretty busy offseason. So with the 17th pick, I think they're going to go ahead and pick one of the best players in this year's draft. If this player does drop, he's going to be a steal for them. His name is Ahmad Sauce Gardner.
So that's a good pick for the Chargers, who have a young core behind Justin Herbert and a lot to look for going forwards. And now the Saints are on the clock, and they're an interesting case. Their quarterback situation and defensively, they have a lot of talent, but for whoever their quarterback is, going to need to solidify the offensive line to what it was just a few years ago. I think Charles Cross be a great pick at offensive tackle, very good compliment to Ryan Ramczyk, the other side of the offensive line.
That's a great pick right there. If Charles Cross drops to the Saints, they will be extremely lucky. Great pick right there. I was gonna wait to pick him, and you got him from me, but it's perfectly fine, man. Next up, we got the Eagles with another one of their three picks in this first round, and I think with this next pick here, they're going to go ahead and try to pick one of the best edge rushers in this year's draft. And his name is actually hang on. Edge. Hmm. Actually, I do want to change that since with the first pick I had for the Eagles, I said they were going to pick an edge rusher. Jermaine Johnson's great out of Florida State. I think his tape is amazing. But with this next pick here, I think that the Eagles are going to try to get a sure-handed wide receiver, and his name is Treylon Burks.
It was a very good pick. The Eagles having to go offense with one of those three picks, most likely. And now we have the Steelers on the clock. And maybe they don't have their quarterback of the future just yet. But with Bernard, Bernard
Raymond.
Raymond, the tackle from Central Michigan, help solidify their offensive line.
Great pick. Raymond's film is absolutely amazing. He's one of those other guys that's knocking people off of the screen in a lot of the film that I'm watching. Raymond is an absolute refrigerator out there, and he's really a guy that Pittsburgh really should have. You know, he has that Pittsburgh grit to him. But next up, we got the Patriots, the oh so mighty cheap Patriots. I got them going with one of the best wide receivers in this year's draft. He also used to be a teammate of their quarterback, and his name is Jameson Williams.
So now we're starting to see a lot of receivers come off the board, and usually that happens at about this point in the draft. It's a good pick for the Patriots. Give Mac Jones another weapon, and now that the Packers are on the clock, probably going to go wide receiver and draft another Ohio State Buckeye after drafting one last year in the second round with Chris Olave to give Aaron Rodgers someone else to throw to, which he desperately needs.
Great pick. Chris Olave will definitely tighten up that gap that they have there at wide receiver now. Great guy, great speed, great hands. Love the pick for him. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals had a really tough time protecting Kyler Murray last year. As you guys probably remember, in that ever so bad for them game against the Rams there in the playoffs. Kyler Murray got hit over 10 times. It was absolutely ridiculous. But I got them selecting the kid out of Boston College, Zion Johnson, to help solidify the interior line.
So you really like that pick for the Cardinals. They have a lot going for them, but they haven't been able to get
Oh, I
over.
think Cody froze here, but we got it going. He's frozen right now, but I'm gonna keep on going. Now with Zion Johnson, he's got some pretty solid film as well. He's pro ready. He's nice and rugged. He has great form as well. No homo. He keeps his butt low when he's blocking and everything. Cody, you back?
Yeah, I think I'm good now. You able to hear me okay?
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Just went out for a quick second. Could have been mine, but let's go ahead and get it. Next up, we got the Cowboys.
So the Cowboys needing linemen and linebackers. It's a position typically be short on sometime. A lot of people thought they were overrated this past year, and they did have some easy wins and disappointing losses, but they also have a lot of talent. So most likely be looking at offensive tackle from Northern Iowa. It's Trevor Penning coming off the board that gives Dak Prescott some much needed protection. Have a young core across their offensive line with Tyler Bayosh as the center and some young guards in there as well.
Extremely needed. Trevor Penning, great pickup for the Cowboys. He'll be one of their tackles for the future, for probably the next 10, 15 years. He's one of those guys that are, you could just plug him into any system and he's going to outperform a regular rookie. Now we got the Bills coming up here. As you see, we got their team needs being a wide receiver and a defensive lineman. Now, with all the wide receivers that are currently free agents right now, I don't think that they will go ahead and pick a rookie for that position. But I do have them going with another defensive lineman to pair it with Von Miller. They just signed him to a huge contract. And if anybody knows Von Miller, he needs someone on the other side of him to help get some pressure because teams they figured out the best way to beat Vaughn is to not even go in his direction. They're going to go ahead and get my guy out of Florida State, Jermaine Johnson II.
G. Johnson's a great pick for the Bills, and we've seen Von Miller win Super Bowls, but he's had help in both of those and paired well with Aaron Donald. Now we have the Titans on the clock who need um, some offensive assistance, and we haven't seen a tight end come off the board yet, and we doubt that that'll happen this early in the draft. So they'll most likely be looking at offensive linemen which there's a lot of offensive linemen in this class, and a lot will be coming off the boards. There's a guard from Texas A&M, Kenyon Green, who especially like and I think could be a great help protecting Ryan Tannehill.
Great pickup for them. With the Titans, they've got some pretty okay offensive linemen right now, but they're going to need an offensive lineman to help keep Derrick Henry up so that he can go ahead and get another 1,000-yard season. As you guys know, last year he only played 7 games and had a 900-yard season, which is absolutely ridiculous. But hopefully next year he can stay healthy. Getting another offensive lineman just basically ensures that he's going to be a running back for hopefully the entire season. Next up, we got the Bucks going ahead and getting Tom Brady to come back for another season. I think they need another wide receiver to go ahead and replace Antonio Brown after he threw his little fit. And they're going to get one of the best wide receivers in this year's draft. He had his pro day today where he showed that he has great hands, man. I think he's going to be one of those guys at the next level to possibly make the Pro Bowl. And his name is Garrett Wilson.
We really like that pick for the Buccaneers in terms of locker room management. The bar's not set very high, but Garrett Wilson will be a great fit playing with one of the greatest of all time. And now with the Packers on the board again, this is where it gets especially interesting. They could go for another wide receiver, which they desperately need. I think if they take an offensive lineman this early, I'd be moderately surprised. However, they have an opportunity to get another inside linebacker, which is a position that they have historically skimped on. And in today's NFL, it isn't highly valued. However, teams that have strong inside linebackers generally do quite well. So they're going to be selecting a local kid, Leo Chanel, out of Wisconsin, and play alongside the all-pro Devondre Campbell. And Chris Barnes will still be in the mix. Joe Barry will like to do a lot of packages with 3 inside linebackers. And I think the impact that Leo Chanel will have on special teams will be considerable also, and the Packers certainly have a need for that.
Definitely great pickup for them. Hometown kid. And he'll really help them for the years to come. Now we got the Chiefs with the moves that they made here today with the Dolphins. They do have back-to-back picks in this year's draft. And I think they're going to immediately go ahead and try to bring in another speedy wide receiver. And his name is Sky Moore. He ran a 4.2 at the combine at Western Michigan. He was blazing through his conference. Nobody really could keep up with him. They're going to go ahead and select Sky Moore with this first pick in the first round for them.
Really like that pick for the Chiefs after losing Tyreek Hill. This was a much needed boost for them, and someone that should be able to play well with Juju Smith-Schuster, who's been flashy and not super consistent over his first few years. But hopefully, for their sake, Patrick Mahomes can help change that. So, Chiefs taking another wide receiver this early is a little bit unlikely. So they'll probably be going defense, and there's not really a single running back that stands out as elite. So that would help Patrick Mahomes, but they probably will not be going in that direction. I think the Chiefs will be looking for a defensive lineman after losing a veteran lineman in free agency last few days. So kid from the University of Houston, Logan Hall, who we like as a fit and is able to play inside as well as edge at times.
Love the pick. Logan Hall, he'll fit in great on that defensive line. He worked the same scheme in college, and he'll look pretty good in that red. Now, we got the Bengals coming up here. As you guys can see, David Ajabo, he hasn't been picked just yet in our mock draft, primarily because of what happened at his pro day. I believe that it drastically dropped his draft stock. He may be a second or third day guy because he did tear his ACL. Unfortunately, prayers up for him. He has some great tape at Michigan, and tough moments build great character. So I think this would definitely be great for him for his NFL career, and we'll see how he bounces back. But I do not have the Bengals selecting Mr. David with this last pick in the draft. I actually have them selecting one of my favorite offensive linemen to watch, and his name is. Oh, I'm still on. Where is he at? Oh, right here in my face. Lucas Abraham out of Washington State. Great tape, great overall guy. The Bengals had a really, really, really tough time protecting Joe Burrow this season, playoffs included. You guys seen the Chief game where Joe Burrow got hit 10 times. And even in the Super Bowl, the game winning play was a sack on Joe Burrow. So they need somebody to go ahead and protect that um, left tackle and right tackle position. We'll see what position he plays.
Like that pick for Cincinnati, their needs for the offensive line cannot be summed up enough. They were going against two of the best defensive linemen in football in the Super Bowl, but how they collapsed in the second half is not excusable at that level. So the Lions have needs all over the board, and they're drafting mostly for the future, but the ceiling is slightly higher this year than last year. So there'd be some talk of taking Aiden Hutchinson's teammate, David who, however, think they'll most likely take a quarterback with this pick and select Malik Wills from Liberty. Liberty is not often a school that gets guys in the first round, and think that Willis will be quite raw when he comes to Detroit, but that's okay since they have Jared Goff to fill in for the next few years. I seriously doubt that Goff is their long-term guy.
Definitely. I completely agree. And hey, that wraps up the draft. Let me know how y'all feel about the draft. Cody, man, this has been my most viewed live video. So appreciate the commentary, man. People are loving you. We got to do this another time. I think this went amazing. Everybody viewing this right now, please let me know what you think. Comment down below. Let me know how you think we did. Let me know who you think maybe we should have picked, maybe we shouldn't have picked. Who do you think is going to be a second day guy? Let us know down below in the comments. And hey, it's your boy Adroit Talks and Cody, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks for checking in with us.
Thank you for this opportunity to do the live draft. It's been great. Certainly love to do it again. It will get a lot of great insights into the picks and to see how the draft could unfold. Of course, in real draft, I think that there will be several trades since there are teams that have a lot of extra picks this year. Some of those are quite high up. I want to thank you again for the draft. It's been amazing.
All right. Well, see y'all next time. I'm going to go ahead and end this broadcast.